Namaste. Capricorn is a sign that is focused more on professional life, career, karmavadi. Capricorn is not a sign which will be happy to stay inside the home. Capricorn is a sign which says, let's go out and let's do something. So basically it is more of action oriented, and that is why it signifies the 10th house in the Kala Purush Kundali. So whenever there are any negative planets in Capricorn, whenever Capricorn sign is afflicted or falls in some bad house, then you suffer in your career. That is why Capricorn sign is a very, very significant sign, because it is directly connected with your professional success. And who rules the sign of Capricorn? It is Lord Saturn. On 21st January, it is a Shani Amavasya. It is a very special day because it is Saturday, and on Saturday there is this Amavasya, that is no moon day or new moon day. So Shani Amavasya is a very significant day. One should perform certain rituals worshipping Lord Hanuman, Lord Shani Dev on this day, and you should also fast on Shani Amavasya if it is possible for you. And today's subject is Moon in Shravana Nakshatra, and Shravan falls in the sign of Capricorn. In fact, Shravan is the only nakshatra that is in its full scope in the sign of Capricorn, because a little part of Dhanishta falls in Aquarius and a little part of Uttarashadha also falls in Sagittarius. But Shravan is completely in Capricorn. So if you are born in Shravan, if you are born with moon in Shravan, then you are complete Capricorn, a pakka Capricorn person. And as I said, Capricorn is focused more on the professional side of life. And when it comes to Shravan, then it is one of the most beautiful nakshatra. It is highly devoted, bhakti bhav, praising the Lord, singing in the praise of the Lord. There is a certain sweetness in the nakshatra of Shravan. A person born with moon in Shravan definitely can progress on the spiritual path, because to progress on the spiritual path you need to have only one thing, and that is devotion. And that is exactly what Saint Jnaneshwar says to Changdev. Changdev is a great tapasvi. He has done a lot of penance for hundreds of years, and yet he is totally blank. And then Saint Jnaneshwar tells to Changdev that you are still blank because there is no devotion within you. And that is how Changdev falls at the feet of Saint Jnaneshwar. And that is when Saint Jnaneshwar bless him. And that is how Changdev eventually understands the significance of bhakti, devotion. And such a devotion is always found in the nakshatra of moon. Whether it is Rohini, whether it is Shravan, or whether it is Hasta. Because all these three nakshatras are ruled by moon. And wherever there is moon, there is always this sweetness. There is always this kind of a melody, a song. You can even address it as a romance. So such a beautiful Shravan Nakshatra, and in this podcast I have talked in brief on the Shravan Nakshatra. However, before we begin, I want to share one significant story. There was a great Sufi saint, and he had become old. So his disciples asked him, "How did you find your guru? How did you find your master?" And the Sufi saint said, "When I was young, I traveled at the foothills of Himalayas. And at the foothills of the Himalayas, I found my master. And I went to him, I bowed before him. But he didn't pay any attention to me. But I was very happy because I had found my master. And so I lived in that ashram. I served the master. And the master would never pay any attention to me. He always ignored me. But many people used to come. He used to talk with all of them. But he always ignored me. But I was happy to be in his omnipresence. So I used to serve him. I used to sweep the floor. I used to cook food. And then, after 1 year, one day, he just looked at me. Just one look. And there was so much love in that. That one glance, that one look was enough for me to continue for 1 more year. And after 2 years, one evening, he looked at me and he smiled. And his smile was so sweet. I was so happy. I had no words to express. And I just kept serving him. And after 1 more year, one night he came and I was about to sleep. He came to me. He kissed on my forehead and he said, "Rahim, you are ready. And you should leave now." And so since he said that you are ready, I followed his instruction. With a heavy heart, I bowed before him. I took his blessings and I started on my journey. And that is how my journey began. And since he said that you are ready, I must be ready. And that is how I met my Guru. Only for 3 times. The first time, he just looked at me. The second time, he smiled. And the third time, he came and he kissed on my forehead and said, Rahim, you are ready. The story is significant because a student cannot wait for so many years. A student is always in rush, you see, but a disciple can wait. A devotee can wait. He can wait for ages because he is not in rush. And you know why he is not in rush? Because he is devoted. It is the devotion that makes him keep going. It is the devotion that drives him. And so a disciple can wait for ages. A disciple, a true disciple, is never in rush. A true disciple has no goal, no agenda. He is simply happy to be in the omnipresence of the Master. And this beauty you will find in the nakshatra of Shravan. And that is why I personally love the nakshatra of Shravan. Always remember, the nakshatra is beautiful, but the chart, the overall birth chart, should also have a certain quality to it. You see, a certain depth of understanding to it. In a cheap horoscope, the nakshatra may not be able to give the kind of results it can give in a quality horoscope. You see, it is a deep subject. I definitely cannot explain everything in this one video, but I think for now, I will talk on this Shravana Nakshatra, a beautiful nakshatra filled with devotion, love, and sweetness. So let's begin. Shravan is the good boy of our galaxy. There is so much goodness in this nakshatra that probably one whole book will not suffice in describing the great knowledge, wisdom, and good qualities that this beautiful nakshatra possesses. The nakshatra of Shravan. Shravan signifies the holy conjunction of moon with Saturn. Moon is signifying Shravan, while Saturn rules the sign Capricorn, and Shravan falls in the sign of Capricorn. Swami Vivekananda had this beautiful conjunction, Moon-Saturn conjunction, and many enlightened beings also had Saturn-Moon conjunction. Many learned men such as Astrologer B.V. Raman were also born with Saturn-Moon conjunction. Jimmy Carter, Osho Rajneesh, and George Clooney were also born with Moon-Saturn conjunction. Shravan Nakshatra contains the essence of Saturn-Moon conjunction. Saturn-Moon conjunction works wonders when the whole gamut of planets in your birth chart are placed positively, that is, in good suitable signs and cusps. Moon in Shravan brings some connection with politics or with social work. Either the person is inclined towards serving the society or wants to take active participation in politics. Moon in Shravan is a born politician. In certain cases, Moon in Shravan simply signifies the intense desire to attain power, prestige, and money. Natives having this placement are good when it comes to making a judgment. always remember, never hate your enemies. Never hate your enemies. It affects your judgment. If the horoscope is inclining towards Rahu, that is, if Rahu is very powerful in your horoscope and your moon is in Shravana Nakshatra, then ambition drives you. And so, many a times people born with such a kind of horoscope, which is Rahuish by nature, then such men are highly ambitious. And it is this ambition that someday also becomes the cause of their depression and downfall. Because ambition is a bottle of poison, but the label on the bottle says it is pure nectar. Every ambitious person wants to become immortal. He never wants to die. He wants to live forever. During the old times, many kings and queens have had this desire to never die so that they could continue their ambitions. One such fool was Alexander the Great. He was in search to find something which could make him immortal. When someone as powerful as Alexander the Great searches for something, he finds it. He was such a powerful man. He searched, and once he reached the cave where some wise man had told him, if you drink the water of that cave, there is a stream in the cave, you will become immortal. Alexander must have been foolish. All Alexanders are foolish. Otherwise, he should have asked the wise man whether he had drunk from that stream. He didn't ask. He was in such a hurry. And who knows if he dies before he reaches the cave. So he rushed. He reached the cave. Inside it, he was very happy. Crystal clear the water was there. He had never seen such clear water. And he was going to drink the water when a crow sitting in the cave said, "Stop, don't do it. I have done and I am suffering." Alexander looked at the crow and said, "What are you saying? You have drunk, and what is the suffering?" He said, "Now I cannot die, and I want to die. Everything is finished. I have known everything that life can give. I have known love, and I have grown out of it. And I have known success. I was a king of crows, and now I am fed up. And I have known everything that can be known. And everybody I knew has died. They have gone back to rest, and I cannot rest. I have tried all efforts to commit suicide, but everything fails. I cannot die because I have drunk from this condemned cave. It is better that nobody knows about it. Before you drink, you meditate on my condition, and then you can drink." It is said Alexander for the first time thought about it and came back without drinking from that cave and that stream. Life exists because there exist opposites, contrast, morning and night, life and death, sadness and happiness, man and woman, positive and negative. In fact, electricity is also generated when the positive and negative poles are connected. So death is also a part of life as much as birth is. Life will be simply unbearable if there is no death. Love will be unbearable if there is no opposite to it. If you cannot separate from your beloved, it will be unbearable. The whole thing will become so monotonous, creating boredom. Life exists with opposites. That's why it is so interesting. But ambitious men and ambitious women cannot understand this. Just like Alexander, he understood only when the clever crew enlightened him, made him aware of the many drawbacks of immortality. The deity of Shravana Nakshatra is Lord Vishnu. In fact, this is the most favorite nakshatra of Lord Vishnu. Now, the most interesting question is, why Jupiter debilitates in Capricorn sign, and that too in Shravan Nakshatra? The answer is simple. The answer is simple, my friends. The answer is simple. Jupiter is consciousness, and consciousness never likes ambitious nature. Since the nature of Shravan is being ambitious, Jupiter dislikes to stay in Shravan, as Jupiter loves contentment. And the sign exact opposite to Capricorn Shravan is Cancer Pushya, in which Jupiter finds his peace. In the abode of Cancer, Jupiter therefore is exalted, while on the ambitious playground of Capricorn, Jupiter is turned off. The sacred tree to Shravan Nakshatra is the tree of crown flower. The flowers of this tree are offered to Lord Shiva. According to the Shiva Purana, the Madar flower or the crown flower is very much liked by Lord Shiva. Therefore, the crown flower and its garland are offered to Lord Shiva for peace, prosperity, and stability in society. The crown flower is also one of the major parts of the 9 astrological trees, that is the Navagraha trees. The blue colored crown flower is indeed the favorite of Lord Shiva. In Thailand, these flowers are used for several festival occasions. These beautiful crown flowers were favored by many royal families across the world, since they are considered a symbol of royalty. While this placement of moon in Shravan is extremely good for attaining great heights in career, still the native should watch his or her ever expanding ambitions. They need to realize that ambition can destroy their family life. Ambition can destroy their peace and can also kill the very possibility of love and romance in their life. Always remember to balance your life. Remember, life is a balance between rest and movement. Lao Tzu says, too much is the only sin. Remember to control your ambitious nature, and then everything will be just fine. Jai Sri Ganesha, Jai Guru. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha.